Alright, so today we're going to be taking a quick look at the Anker 548 or model A1294 portable electric generator with a 60,000 milliamp or 192 watt-hour capacity. So it seems like Anker has designed this to be a more camping-based product, something that you would easily be able to throw in a backpack and have a lot of capacity over a standard small power bank, something that might be only 10,000 or 20,000 milliamps. And to continue the camping design, it actually has an XT60 solar input, which is pretty nice. It supports 10 volt to 24 volt at 3 amps, which is also 60 watts max, which is pretty cool, though most solar panels often start at 100 watts, at least that I've seen, and what they use in larger electric generators. Anker doesn't provide any information on what kind of solar panels to use or what kind of adapters to use. They also don't give you any adapters in the box, so I guess you have to just figure that part out on your own. Now it's fairly small and light too, which is pretty nice. It is 4.5 by 4.5 inches this way, and it's only about 8.1 inches tall, so it can easily fit in most standard backpacks. It weighs just over 5 pounds as well, so it's definitely a lot lighter than any of the big electric generators. One other nice thing is that it uses lithium iron phosphate cells rather than lithium ion, which gives it the ability to handle 3,000 cycles before it starts to degrade, unlike more common lithium-ion cells that use only around 300 cycles, though a lot of these portable electric generators are switching to lithium iron phosphate because of the fact that it allows more cycles and it's significantly safer. Now for the ports, you do get two USB-C ports. This one is in and out. This one's only out. You get two USB-A out, and then of course the solar XT60 input. Now I have the full specs on screen, but the USB-C in port supports 60 watts input charging just like the XT60 input, or you can do 60 watts out through either USB-C port. If you're pulling 60 watts out, you can pull an additional 18 watts from any of the other ports. Otherwise, you can pull a combined mix of 87 watts out between all four ports. Now the screen is pretty nice. It's not as sharp as their Anker 747 battery, but it's more than good enough for what this is. Now if you press either of the two light buttons right there, it'll turn on the screen and show you the current charge. And then in order to get any further, you have to plug something in. So I have here a couple different devices that we can plug in, two phones and a laptop. Now we'll start with the laptop. So the laptop supports 100 watts input, but obviously this does not. So if you plug it in, you give it a second, it'll start to charge. First it'll show you the charge percentage, now it'll show you the main screen. Now on the main screen, you get the total charge percentage that's remaining in the battery. You get the current charge and discharge time remaining, the input and output wattage, as well as a couple warning icons, as you can see on the screen, such as when it's recharging, over temperature protection, as well as if you have the auto lighting during blackouts enabled. Now as you can see right now, it's currently pulling 48 watts for this laptop. Now again, this laptop does support 100 watts, but this only supports 60 watts. So because we're only putting 47, and the maximum is going to be 87, you can still plug in some phones. So I'll go ahead and plug in one. This is going to be an iPhone. If you give it a second, it should go up to a higher output, which in this case, for some reason, it actually disabled the fast charging on the USB-C port. Not too sure why it did that, but I plugged it into the bottom port and now it's fully working. So if I go ahead and plug in the other device, there's going to be another phone. And as you can see now, we're up to 52 watts, and the laptop is currently charging at 45 watts. I do have a charge meter on the laptop directly, so I can see that comparison. Now if I go ahead and unplug the laptop, we can see it actually drops down to 0 for some reason and resets. And now we're looking at 7 watts between the two phones, which honestly kind of seems inaccurate. We might need to do some more testing on that in the future. 7 watts for these two phones does not seem accurate. I believe the iPhone supports a maximum of 18 watts, and this Samsung Fold 3 I believe supports a max of 25 watts, so it definitely should be charging a little bit faster. Now the one thing to note as well is that the Samsung phone is at 97%, so it's not going to take advantage of the full 25 watt charging, but the iPhone here is only at 46%, and so it should be able to take advantage of full charging speeds. So like I said, we might have to do some testing on that in the future, but for now this video is just a quick look, so I won't go ahead and bother with that right now. What I do want to show you last though is it does actually have a lantern on top, which goes by the camping theme. So you can actually press it here once and it turns on low. You can press it here again, turns on high. If you press it one more time, it's going to shut off. Now if you press the SOS button, kind of looks like a emergency phone call button, but if you press that, it'll go ahead and give you an SOS mode. And if you want to dim it, or you just don't want to look at it and you want to put it away for putting in a backpack, you can go ahead and compact it down. Makes it a little bit smaller. I would say that it does pop up about 2 inches, so it'll definitely take up a little bit more space if they didn't add that feature. And I might as well show you as well, it does have a pretty nice handle. I don't really think that this handle is going to be super useful because it's small enough you could just fit it in your hand. But you can grab it by the handle if you want to. It's a pretty nice quality handle. It also has a reflective strip right here. It's got some venting. I'm not sure if it has an actual fan in it, but it does have some venting on both sides. Another emergency locator strip. And the bottom just has the specifications. So overall, that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll also leave a link down in the description if you want to purchase it. So thank you for watching, and I hope this helped you make your decision if you were considering purchasing the Anker 548.